the reason why it takes me a year is because through a year, you can get to know someone if you talk to them, not sporadically, but enough, right? So if I'm talking to someone, like, I don't want to be that guy that, we meet and, hey, let's partner. All right, great. And then 6 months down the road, here's the deal. And man, I don't even really know you, man.
All right, guys, welcome to another amazing episode. Today we have John Fortes. He is a multifamily investor, and his main focus right now has been working with passive investors. And his company has raised and put together and assisted passive investors with showing them where to put their money. This is about a roundabout number of 70 million. We're going to dive right in. So, John, if you could go ahead and, give us a little bit of your background. How did you get into, the multifamily, the commercial, the capital raising game? And then, how did you begin?
Awesome, man. First of all, thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be on your show, man. And I'm honored.
Thank you, man.
And for the listeners, man, please, if you haven't already, please rate and review this show, man. These guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Man, everybody should, man. Everybody should.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit about my background is like 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. It's like 6 years now. I dove into just all types of books regarding the stock market. And I was just kind of trying to figure out the stock market, looking at my 401k, like, man, it's going to be a problem. Right. So, turned to my wife and said, we got to make something happen. And I started reading these books. And all of a sudden, man, it's just it wasn't making sense to me. But all while that was happening, we purchased our first home. We bought it foreclosed. We started fixing it up. We did everything. And next thing you know, I saw the value appreciate. So now I'm on bigger pockets, learning everything, reading real estate books. And man, next thing you know, man, it's like real estate. We got to do it. So a couple years of doing that before I did my first turnkey investment. Now I wanted to burn something. I wanted to buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. But my appetite for that on my first investment wasn't there. So I bought turnkey, cash flowing. And while we got that on the contract, everything started funneling out with multifamily. Like, I'm talking about podcasts, books, and all of that. So I started diving in. I told my wife while we had the first investment on the contract, I said, this is probably the last single family we do. Because like everybody, you hear, you eventually scale to multifamily and when you start doing single families. And I didn't want to do like 30, 40, 50 of them like you hear people get to. So I said, why not just jump to it now? Dove into some education, some more, bought the Jake and Gino investment multifamily program. Those are my guys. They're awesome. And
yeah, we're in there too, man.
All right. Yeah. Those dudes. Yeah. So we're in the same community. Look at that.
Yep.
So what I did when I first got in there was everybody was, people ask questions, and I was trying to make it a point where I had my alerts set up with that and certain other groups. And whenever people sent a question, I would try to answer it as far as what I've read and what I've learned or what I've heard on a podcast. And I realized my conversation started going until I got my first deal. This is what I heard. This is what I read. This is what I learned. To this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And then it's kind of funny how that kind of transition just shifted naturally with our asset that we have. So moving on from my first single family investment property, joined the community, started engaging in conversations, partnered up on a 62 unit. And then from there, like 5-6 months later, syndicated our first 41 and then syndicated a 528 unit right after that. Since then, just to fill you guys in and bridge the gap, the 41 unit, we held it for 15 months and we successfully gone full cycle and exited. for 1.5 multiplier to our investors, and everybody was happy. And that was right in the middle of right when COVID was probably at its peak. So as we exited, so it was gratifying. It was good. I wish we still had it though, but it made sense to exit, and we didn't exit for any bad reason. We were approached and someone threw a boat at us, so we said, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Hey, Bill Ham says always, hey, for the right price, I'll sell any day.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're going to get 50% of the business plan in 15 months, you might as well sell it, because it's not worthwhile staying in the deal for another 4 years just to get the other 50% of your projected returns that you already penciled in for, so that you forecasted. So it makes too much sense. And, it was cash flowing like 9% to our investors. It was just really, really good asset in a good market in Chattanooga. So
yeah,
that was that, man. And that's where I am today, man.
So are you now a full-time operator, or are you still,
right now I'm full-time, man. All I do is, I create a ton of content. I give away investment tracking sheets. And basically, my platform is designed for passive investors, right? So what we do is when we bring on an operator, and I'm sorry, but this is just kind of like what we do right now, what I focus on. And we just bring on, operators like yourselves, and we talk about not what you're doing in real estate. We talk about how are you managing and scaling your business, as far as what systems are you using? Yep. What kind of things are you doing for investors? What was it like working with passive investors in the beginning to how it is now? And just kind of giving the experience of what a passive investor looks for with boutique firms or high institutional companies. So it's about the passive investing experience. How are you going to deal with them? Are you communicating? Are you sending out proper notifications? How are you raising capital? What are you streamlining? Are you using investor portals? Are you using everything off a spreadsheet? There's no right or wrong way, because some of these companies are startups, and you eventually go from spreadsheet to investor portal to pipelines and just creating workflows and processes and software and automation. And security is the biggest factor, right? How are you securing documents? Are you compliant and all of that? So yeah, we touch on all of that with our passive investing experience to make sure investors understand that this is just, we're firms at the end of the day. We're companies.
Yeah.
And we're not just trying to
take your money and do whatever. Yeah.
So there's a process to this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
So with how you're talking about processes, let's talk about that a little bit. How are you established? Are you helping investors come to you, and then you're bringing those investors to other operators, or are you creating your own equity firm in a sense, and then doing a pull through a deal or another firm to your equity firm? How are you structuring your business?
Yeah, that's model? A great question, Oscar. I mean, it's all about staying compliant. And how do you stay compliant without raising capital for other syndicators, or just kind of staying within the rules and being part of due diligence and whatever. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of malpractice going on, where there's people that'll just raise capital for the deal without having no other significance in the property or the asset. And that's malpractice. You're not a broker dealer. Go get your Series 65 or Series 67 and go ahead and raise the capital, and then be able to transition capital into operators deals like that. But if you don't, there's proper ways to do that. And you can create a fund where you can JV with other operators. And as long as that they're not structuring in a syndication, you can send your fund and be part of the GP as it's not a syndication. It's just a joint venture. And that's the difference, where syndication, and I'll explain it briefly, is pulling a capital and purchasing an asset. A joint venture opportunity is us three on a call, we find an asset, and now we're just pulling the capital together, our capital, or our funds or our process or however we're doing it, and we're purchasing the asset, and maybe you two are running it full time, and I'm there just making sure the returns are meeting the investors' expectations and all of that. So it's just simple processes like that. And raising through a fund is cleaner, safer, compliant, and it protects all parties involved, not just passive investors, but it protects all the syndicators as well. If you are investing into a syndication as part of an LP through your fund.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's good to know. And I think that's an important point to tell people, is that there is some malpractice there, right? And you hear it when you're in the space. Hey, like, you bring capital, I could put you in the deal. And technically, that's not the most correct way of doing it, right? Obviously, syndication
Absolutely.
has a lot of gray areas, but you don't want to be gray when the SEC comes around and says, actually, it's not gray. It's what we say it is,
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too, it takes me about a year for me to partner with people. I built up that, basically the fact that the reason why it takes me a year is because through a year, you can get to know someone if you talk to them, not sporadically, but enough, right? So if I'm talking to someone, like, I don't want to be that guy that, we meet and, hey, let's partner. All right, great. And then 6 months down the road, here's the deal. And man, I don't even really know you, man. And I'm about to put people's money with you. Come on, man. But my partnerships are authentic. Everybody I partnership, I've known for years. Man, it's just like when you're building work relationships, you're networking, and you know who you like, and you know that, maybe you don't vibe with someone or whatever. I don't want to be in a deal when I don't vibe with anyone. I've been in a deal where I didn't vibe with anyone, and I don't like it. So that's why I put in that 1 year rule of, let's see how it goes for the year. And, and I never push that mark up, man. I make sure I'm honest to that. I think I've built up enough career capital to know how to get in a couple deals with the partnerships that I've already manufactured and that are really true for me. But, that's how it is.
John, what's your background?
Great question. I came from IT consulting, man. So,
okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of IT consulting. I worked from like firm to firm and working with a lot of C-suite and high net worth and people in position of power. So it's nothing new to me when I'm working with investors where they're maybe they're just high net worth, or maybe I'm working with another firm's CEO or operator, right? So it's nothing new, man.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I was gonna say, because you did it in 6 years, and then you built up that net worth so fast. So yeah, that's why I was asking your background, like how you came to work with that type of relationships and know who's who, So yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
That's a great question, man.
I think that's awesome, man, because I see a lot of IT consultants in this space, and I think it's more and more important. Like my background is cyber as well. And I think it's important because, like you mentioned, the data, right? I mean, more and more security is going to become a bigger issue in real estate and real estate firms as we move forward. And it's something that I'm seeing is not being really paid attention to be honest. But, I think we understand processes and systems pretty well. Now, how do you onboard an investor? What's your process to begin that?
Absolutely, man. That's, when someone comes through your website or referred to you through email or whatever, like, you want to capture some information. You want to make sure you're getting some, a soft form is what I like to call it, right? And for instance, it'll be like how much, not like your name, email, whatever, not how much. I never asked them on my first form. It'll be like, how long are you looking to make an investment? Like is it the next month or 2, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months plus? And it's just kind of like softball questions, just because you don't want to you just don't want to turn anybody off by asking how much money you got in your pocket right now, right? Like, come on, man, that's not something you're gonna ask someone. You're gonna ask them kind of like some easy softball questions, meaning, where did you find me? How did, is it a referral and stuff like that. So probably like 5 or 6 questions, none of them asking about money, just asking more about them. And then set up a call with them. And then as that call is being done, I send out another form where it will request to update their profile. And you want to word it similar to that, because if you say, hey, just fill out this form, no one's going to fill out the form. It's just another form you're sending them. How to update your profile. I need to update your profile before we have the call. Can we, you mind taking 2 seconds to update that? And literally that's the best way to capture that, because by the time you're on the call with them, you'll have all the information you need for you to give them information that they need, because when they're on the phone with you, now they're vetting you as, they probably already done some homework on you. They've done some homework on your firm already. And then now here's where it gets tricky. You're qualifying them as the sponsor, as the investors qualifying the sponsor. And you have to have 2 good working relationships. If you want to just work with anybody, just hire someone and just kind of have them onboard everybody. But if you want to work with people that really, really want to grow with you and build with you, and you want to do the same with them, it's a difference in how much fun this game could really be than, just hiring anybody and just working with anybody and just moving money around. I mean, it doesn't feel gratifying at the end of the day.
Man, that is solid advice right there. So, yeah, because
there's one more piece to that. I'm sorry. After the call, after they're approved, you might either approve them or disqualify them. But either way, if they're approved, they get sent to an invitation to your investor portal. And that's my process. It's not everybody's, but like, you can send them an approval notice or something like that. Anything that works and helps you.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways. So that's the final piece to that.
And you keep that relationship with what? Newsletters or continuously phone calls, or how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have 2 lists. I have one list where if you come in and you just, want to sign up to my newsletter, you're not on my investor list. If we've had the call, you're on my investor list. If you're just coming through on my newsletter and you're on my newsletter list, I'm not giving investors an opportunity to opt out of future communications if they're looking to invest. So I'm not going to bombard them with newsletters until they're actually in a deal. I might send them company updates worldwide, like company-wide, meaning newsletter and investors. Yeah. In regards to maybe there's something that we're looking out for, or, safety precautions or COVID announcements, or, just something that needs to make a notice sent out to everybody. Right. So you want to make sure you sent out that company wide. But if they're just want to get the newsletter, they're going to go on the newsletter list. But if they come through and submit the form and they know they want to invest, they'll be on my investor list, and the next deal that rolls out, they'll get that email.
Nice.
Man, that's really good. So out of that, you mentioned that you disqualify someone. What's the disqualifier for you?
Maybe they're not ready. Maybe I would never take anybody's capital that's, for instance, Oscar, say you want to come and invest, and you say, yeah, I got 25,000. That's all I got to my name. I'm not going to do it, man. That's all you got to your name, man. It's like, I know you want to invest. I know you want in, but you might have to go figure it out another way, man. Go buy a single family with that or something. And, I'm not even going to advise you to go do that.
Yeah.
Edit that out. I'm just kidding.
No, I hear you, man.
But it's.
You want to look out for people.
Yeah.
It's not just taking their money. And I get it, because we had this young guy. It's like, hey man, I'll take out a loan of $100,000. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
You crazy? I don't want you.
I don't want to put anybody in a compromising situation.
Yeah, no, there's no need for that, right?
At the end of the day, I'm a person that I'm real genuine in the sense where if it doesn't feel right, I'm not gonna do it. And a lot of that, like me and my wife, we practice a lot of that, and I feel like if I do it, it's gonna go back. What goes around comes around, man. And I don't want that, man.
Is she involved in the business too, or? She does something else.
Put it this way. I don't do anything huge unless I consult with her, because sometimes she might see something that I don't see. And at the end of the day, we pray about everything we're making, every big decision, even small decisions, we pray about it. And then we go about it, doing it.
Nice.
My business.
I like it.
That's
With
great,
that
man.
said, man, do you only qualify accredited investors or anybody?
Unaccredited me.
Nah, man, that's these questions are friggin' phenomenal, man. So no, I really enjoy these because I haven't been asked these previously. So I don't disqualify you if you're not accredited. We work with both. Reason why is my funds are 506c, which is accredited investors only. There's some one-off syndications that we do that are accredited only. And then there's some that come down the pipe that are 506Bs where we can't advertise and we have to have a working relationship. So if you are not accredited and you want to be a part of the deal, as long as the maximum hasn't been reached on the threshold of the investment that we have to raise, which is 35 participants can be non-accredited on a 506B, we offer those out in the first come, first serve basis. And, usually that's how we do it. And we don't really disqualify you if you are not accredited.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
And you mentioned you onboard them on your portal. If you can, give us a little insight into what portal you use and which portal you recommend, especially, as you start and then as you scale. Obviously, there's a high-end portals and there's those that you begin with.
Yeah. Another great question, man. So I started with spreadsheet, man. Spreadsheet. So, and then I moved over to Invest Next, and Invest Next has been nothing but great with me. They've been awesome. We've had many discussions with the CEO personally about things that I've seen that we can help to improve the service, because at the end of the day, I'm about the investor experience. And when I talk to him about it, I'm like, look, man, I just want this to be as easy and efficient for them as possible. And here's my ideas. So I use that. And what the deal flow looks like is I'll send an email to everybody else, everybody on the list. And obviously not everybody might not sign up to the portal when it's first come, but the only way to see the actual deal is to be logged into the portal. So I'll send out the email and I'll just kind of guide everybody to the portal again. And if they need access to see it again, I'll just kick them another email, telling them to join the portal again. And then from there, that's how they'll view the deal, because I like my deals behind security. I like being able to track everything through the portal so I can manage every aspect of the capital raised through the investor portal. It's like people from soft committing to sending out the PPM and documents all through the portal, and they know that they're safe and their access is right there in the portal and not everything through email. So any signed documents, you're going to upload them back to the portal and send them back over. Here's the thing now, we've moved on to e-signatures. So that's a big thing too. And, we're literally pretty much we're everything in the cloud too right now. So yeah, everything's behind Microsoft 365 and, that's how we're moving right now.
Are you able to do distributions and also ACH through there as well?
Great question, man. Great question. Look, I love these questions, man. So yeah, the portal allows us to set up ACH structure payments. That's one of the biggest reasons why we moved to the portal. Biggest reasons why we moved to the portal is for ACH reasons, allowing people to track their investments all right there without having them basically to create their own spreadsheets. It's all about thinking about the investor's journey and making it easier for them. And if you knew you got to track 5, 6, 7 investments all on paper, like you really don't want to do that. You're either going to create, for instance, you said, a lot of people that are in, in IT in this space that you come across, everybody's analytical. So everybody's got their own little, way that they track their metrics and all that. So make it easier for them. Give them it right there. And the distributions, when you submit them on the portal and all that, it allows them to see, one, they'll get their capital in whatever desired account that they set up for. And if it's going back to a 401k, self-directed 401k, or going back to their personal account, or however they got it structured, they'll also be able to manage them through the portal and show them how the deal is actually producing as well.
Awesome, man. I have a few more questions, but I see German.
Sure.
You got anything?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna.
So,
I mean, I'll end with this one, but go ahead.
So do you deal with international investors as well?
No, but that's a good question, man. So for instance, a Canadian investor came by the site and asked me the process, and there's a whole different structure where you got to set up the syndication docs differently to allow for an account for international investors. I'm not there yet. I'm only working with basically everybody in America right now, but
Gotcha.
no one outside. But yeah, there's definitely ways to structure it. And the biggest thing is finding out what the barriers for them are, as opposed to taxes wise in their country when they're making these type of investments out of country. So find out what that is and try to guide them as best as possible.
Okay. Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm asking a lot of these. Is actually we're at that point where we're establishing our investor portal or all that. So I know I'm not the only one in that boat. There's people listening that, hey, what do you use? How do you do it? How do you make it happen? What touch points are you doing throughout a period, right? Because I know we've gone cold on people, and it's like, we're messing up.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. When you get a question that you feel like you can't answer, and this has worked for me a lot in the past, go to someone doing it higher level than you and find out who's doing it and what, and keep asking. And you might kiss a lot of frogs before you get the prince, but at the end of the day, you're going to get the answer. So if you got to move, heaven and earth, just get the answers, because you want to make sure that when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do something. And when you say you're going to go get the answer, you're going to go get the answer.
I agree, man. I love the mentality. German, what you got?
What markets do you focus on?
Great question. Central Florida. We look at them. We look at Central Texas. Our one of our deals is in Dallas MSA, the DFW area, and we have exited out of Tennessee, where I told you, Carolinas, and that's it for now, as well as Huntsville, Alabama. But it's so close to Chattanooga, so that's it for now. And as we start to build up our investor partnerships for JV opportunities with the fund that we're rolling out shortly. So hopefully in the next quarter, we'll be rolling out the fund, and we'll be building up our investor partnerships to be able to JV partnerships and take down as many deals as we need.
That's sweet, man. That's really awesome, man. I'm excited to see how much you grow and what you do. I mean, you've already come a very long way, and I know I can already tell mentorship has played a big role in that. So, we're big fans of Jake and Gino. We joined their academy. I mean, I know personally we've, our knowledge has grown tenfold just being in a community of like-minded people. What do you say to people who are thinking about joining, or not just Jake and Gino, but mentorship in general? What do you tell them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm all for mentorships or coaches or whatever you want to call them. I am on record of saying I haven't had any mentors. I didn't hire any mentors. I didn't pay for any coaching. I naturally just only thing I purchased was the invested in education of Jake and Gino's. And it was, $1,000 at the time, and we purchased it, and it was, everything that helped us get to where we are today. So what I did was, the biggest learning curve for me was reading a lot of books and having a lot of conversations and going to conferences and trying to do that. What I stated earlier in the podcast is trying to answer as many questions as I could. And the reason why I try to answer questions is, even if I didn't, even if I was wrong, someone would come in and say, this is the best way to do it. And my motto is, I win or I learn, and I don't lose.
Nice.
I love it, man.
And I like the fact that you said, because I think my brother and I, we do that a lot. As we learn, we put it out there, because we know that the more we teach, I mean, you learn more when you teach, and then people start asking us questions that we might not know the answer sometimes, but we look at, we look for the answers, we ask other people, and then we try to help those people, because they might not have the network that we have currently. So and that's how that's how we're learning too, helping other people. So I love it.
Absolutely. Another thing that helped me was that during at the beginning of COVID, like really at the beginning of COVID, I joined the mastermind program. It went for like 12 weeks or something like that. And it was amazing. Tremendous growth out of that, because you don't want to show up to your next session 2 weeks later and say, I didn't do anything. Meanwhile, everybody else is crushing it.
Yep.
So being able to stay like online and in pace, like whatever you want, whatever you're doing, you're staying on pace to, grow and scale your business.
Love it, man. That's awesome. All right. So one of the last things that we always ask everyone that comes in is, family balance. Obviously, I can tell you're a family man. You have a wife. You have kids.
2 kids, man. Beautiful
awesome.
Boy, 10-year-old and 6-year-old daughter.
Congrats, man. Well, I am sure that takes a lot of juggling, a lot of balancing. I have 2 kids too. So how do you make it happen? How do you keep everything, working and the wheels spinning?
Man, I make sure that, I try to be very giving of my time with them, because it's about the memories that I'm creating with them. And the reason why I'm scaling my business is for them. So I try to, my son loves basketball. I'm a basketball referee. I try to teach him as much as I told him, this is as far as I went. You can go further than me if you put in the work. So I try to teach him about hard work. And my daughter loves singing and dancing. So we try to dance around the house and sing and whatever. We watch The Greatest Show. Me and my wife, we love just spending time with each other. Just being in each other's presence is everything. So, that's kind of like having my office right next. They can walk in anytime, and, I'm recording this podcast and they'll just knock at the door and I can see them through the glass and they'll wave or something like that. And it's awesome, man, knowing that right out the door, they're right there. So, there's no commute. I've worked a job that the commute was crazy. 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Car issues and all of that, man. I never want to be in that position ever again, man. So family's everything,
Nice. And real estate was the portal to that life.
Yeah.
Man, you said it, man.
That freedom, man.
I know.
That's the biggest takeaway right there. I love it, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, just to piggyback off of that, what you said with real estate is, follow what the rich do. They're rich for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So just pick up the little breadcrumbs that they leave behind, and learn as much as possible about that process. And when you get stuck, you're gonna learn more.
Yep.
You're gonna find out the ways to do it, because when you're putting your energy in that direction already, it only makes sense for that type of information to come towards you. I mean, it's like the gravitational pull, man. So just put your focus into that way, even when it feels like it's hopeless or like you just feel like, man, you need a lifeline or something, or you just need the answer. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Just go do something else real quick. Go play basketball. Go do something. Do what your hobby is. Go for, like, for me, it's running. When I know I'm working so much, I might go for a jog at noon, because I'm just like, all morning I've been doing something and I just need to let it go. And by the time I come back, I figured out the way to clean it up or make it better or do it or who to ask or who to reach out to. It's just crazy how things come to you when you just kind of release that energy. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Even on the difficult days. I mean, sometimes it just takes to go sleep it off, and you wake up the next day and you're like, why was I so stressed yesterday? I don't even. Yeah, I know. And you find the answer, or the answer just come out. You know, that's pretty awesome. I like that.
Or something changes and you're like, man, why was I so annoyed by that? You know. So.
Yeah, nothing's coincidental, man. It's just like I have a hat my wife got me. It's not luck, it's God. It's amazing to me. I'm like, that's it. I wear it everywhere.
That's awesome, man. That's great, man. And I love hearing, you know, it sounds like you got an amazing partnership there in the family. So that's great to hear, man. You know, and for anyone out there, you know, that's what we should all be striving for, right? It's all about family, like you said.
I think we all have it, right? In our own way. We all have it. Like my way might not be your way, but your way might not be my way. And it's that's the beauty of it, man. You know what I mean? So that's it.
I hear you, man. Well, John, thank you so much, man. You know, for all the listeners, if you could just tell them where they can find you, where they can reach you, all that jazz.
Yeah, man. First of all, man, thank you guys. And if you guys haven't already, go and rate and review this show, man. They ask great questions. It's authentic. They're so curious and just want to drill down to the answers, man. I loved it, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man.
Easiest way to find me is johnfortes.com, FORTES.com. And for anybody that's looking for investment tracking, you know, you want to track your investments, I have a great spreadsheet. You can go to projectedreturns.com and it's for free, man. It's for free. I give it away for free.
That's awesome, man. What can they do with that? Is that like a financial statement of your own or just for investments?
No, I mean, like it's for anybody that has any type of investments, whether they're personal or you've invested in a syndication. I like to call it the passive investor, the passive investment tracker. You can compare projected returns versus actual returns.
Gotcha.
You can compare investments and affirm your markets, helps you refine your passive investment criteria. You can compare sponsors, track up to 5 investments, and it got visuals with graphs and charts.
I love it, man. Awesome. You pulling all the data together. That sounds great. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me on.
And you also have your podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
You gotta bring it up.
It's cool, man. I thank you for that, man. Sometimes it's like, I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I feel like I don't want to step on toes with talking.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, this is what we do, man. We spread everything. We spread the love, man. There's abundance.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I always tell people, man, I mean, you're a data guy. I think there's like 70 million listeners right now, right? In the next decade, it's projected to go up to 200, 300 million listeners, right? There's enough listeners for everyone, right? And everyone has a different way of approaching the subject. You're going to learn from someone different. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they like John, right? Like,
nah, man, they're here for you, man. They're your people, man.
But that's cool, you know, it's cool because it works each way. I mean, maybe there's something they like about someone else. I mean, Joe Rogan, I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
There's a person for everyone, right? So no biggie, man. There's enough listeners out there, enough podcasts.
Nah, I appreciate that. So thank you, German, for the alley-oop. I'll dunk it home real quick. So it's the Passive Investor Show. We focus on 2 things, right? So like for operators looking to scale their business quickly and efficiently, we talk about that with operators we bring on, and how they're raising capital in the process. And then for the passive investors, we talk about basically they learn about the passive investing experience and how that process flows and what the channel should look like with boutiques and small boutique investment firms to institutional firms. And the name of the podcast is the Passive Investor Show. And the easiest way to find it is either on your favorite podcast platform or www.passiveinvestorshow.com.
That's awesome.
Awesome, man. And if you listen to that show, give him a 5-star review as well. Give us a 5-star review. Check us out, man. All right, John. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you guys
could
could tell, but I love domains, man. If I could find it and get it, I'm buying it.
Yeah. All right, man. That's awesome, dude.
Hey,
thank you, John, for your
guys'
time, man.
Thank you, man. God bless.
You too, man.